Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of LegalWiki. Today I'm delighted and thrilled to have Mr. Sumit Saha on my channel. Mr. Sumit is a senior product manager handling the digital lending process at ECL Finance Limited, the SME Lending vertical of Edelweiss Financial Services. It is one of the top and the most prominent NBFCs when it comes to digital transformation and innovation. Sumit has pursued MBA and today he has joined us to share his experience of how an MBA graduate can contribute towards legal work within their company. Sumit comes with vast experience in BFSI domain, having worked as business analyst, product manager, and customer success manager throughout his career. A very warm welcome to you, Sumit. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Subi. It's really a very good thing that today I'm on a platform where I can reach out to people. I can help them with my knowledge from legal and compliance perspective, working as an MBA. And your channel is, I think, one of the best platforms. It's very interactive, the way you discuss with your speakers and you reach out to your audience. So I'm obliged to be on it today.
Thank you so much, Sumit. So, before we begin, I would like to thank you for accepting my invitation and taking out time from your busy schedule. I hope the conversation would be fruitful to all those who want to understand the working of NBFC and its legal compliance. So, with this, let's begin. So, shall we begin?
Sure, Surbi.
Okay. So, I'll start with a very basic question. So, can you explain to our viewers what is actually NBFC and how do NBFC companies work?
NBFCs are non-banking financial companies, which are financial institutions which provides various type of services like insurance, loans, asset management. But the only difference between an NBFC and a bank is that they don't have a banking license. So they can't take deposits from the general public. Edelweiss or ECL Finance, the Edelweiss's wing of SME Lending, is a loan giving or lending NBFC, whereas there are other NBFCs which are a part of asset management like HDFC, AMC. So we have both type of NBFCs, lending and non-lending.
Okay. So are these NBFCs company registered with RBI?
Okay, so the lending ones, they are registered with RBI, but not necessarily all NBFCs need to be registered with RBI.
So you mean to say that there are different types of NBFCs?
Yes, yes. So like
And
any fintechs are also NBFCs who provide insurance or loans or any other services, financial related.
okay. And right now you have mentioned that this NBFCs do not accept deposits. So
Yes.
if they do not accept deposits, then how do they earn money?
Okay. So they also have different avenues of raising money. One major avenues are from banks or investors or the big MFIs from whom they raise money and they lend the money at a higher interest, which gives them their profit scenario as well. They also raise money via various instruments from the general public, like debentures are one of them.
So basically not directly, but indirectly they raise money and through interest only they are earning profits, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to our next question, can you briefly explain the role and responsibilities of a professional working with an NBFC company? And as you an MBA candidate and as a digital product manager, how do you contribute to legal work?
Okay. So as we all know that this is the era of digital innovations and everything and everyone is trying to go as much digital as possible. And
Correct.
banks or NBFCs are no way out. They are also going and trying to be as much digital as possible. So if you see the traditional banks, say ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, they are also coming up with digital innovations which are first in the market.
Yes.
So, as a MBA financial, and because I'm coming from an MBA finance degree,
Okay.
So I understand the finance part as well, what goes in the working of the bank. And as a product manager, I have to take care of many tie-ups. So when I'm saying tie-ups, it can be with fintechs, it can be with vendors, it can be with banks. The major tie-ups which I am personally looking into are with the fintechs.
Okay.
When you are tying up with a fintech, so there are many things which has to be taken care of from a legal and compliance angle. Data, commercials, where will the data reside, how long will the data be there, and various other terms and conditions. So with the MBA finance knowledge, I can understand the process of the program, and with the law knowledge, I can understand what are the necessary things which needs to be in an agreement.
Okay. So this is how you contribute to the legal work also, because you're already having during your course, you have studied the legal things also, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay. So what are the types of legal agreements are commonly drafted in NBFC industry, and what is your role in this?
Okay. So commonly the major part would be your customer agreements, the loan agreements, if you want to keep it like way. So the
Okay.
loan agreements includes the sanction letter, the entire loan docket, the consent forms, the insurance forms, the CKYC forms. So everything needs to be taken care of. But as a product manager, the major part of me goes into taking care of fintech agreements, which includes your NDAs. Those are non-disclosure agreements, the basic thing which you need to do before going through a round of demonstration of their products, the fintech's products. And once it's finalized, the term agreements, which are the major, which includes the commercial part, the schedules, the scope of work. So that part needs to be taken care of.
So just wanted to have one clarification. You don't draft the agreements, but I'm sure you do the vetting work, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
So agreements are generally drafted by the legal team. So big banks, they already have their agreements in place. But if someone does not have a specified digital agreement, I believe all the banks are very open to take the agreements which are drafted by the different fintechs, because obviously they have a trust on their legal team who is
Okay.
obviously going to vet the agreements.
Okay. So adding to this, can you explain when the agreements comes to you by the legal team, where does your role comes into the place, sir?
Okay. So we all might be knowing this thing. If you are only there as a courier person or transporting legal from this team to that team, then you are going to be sandwiched, because
Correct.
legal teams of both the parties will have their every minute details being corrected. There's where a product team or a product manager has to take care of, because they have to come to a middle ground. See, business is always in a hurry, but the legal is not affected. So there are few points which the business has to take accountability for.
Okay.
Few things your legal, I mean the company's legal leaves onto you. Few things the other party, the vendor party's legal keeps onto you. So where will the data reside? What will be the consent of the data? How long will the data be residing? So these things is where a product manager needs to step in and say, no, we are fine with this, and we believe this is something which can be a part of our project, because we understand how our product will be working.
Right. So can I say that basically you are involved in a negotiation part of providing the inputs to the legal team how the drafting will work by providing your inputs from one side, from your company side.
Correct, correct, correct. So we try to be as much possible from one-sided, company-sided, because we have to keep our company's interest in mind.
Obviously. Hmm.
But having said that, we also need to see what is going on in the market, what is going on in the industry. If my peer competitors, they are on a particular clause, so we can't say ki, no, we are not going to agree on that,
Right.
because things change, and to change one thing, some other things obviously come up. So we have to come to a middle ground.
Okay, thank you. So moving on, what are the key factors to consider when weighting vendor agreements, especially the digital ones for an NBFC?
So digital is all about data.
Yes,
And as banks and NBFCs, data is the most precious thing because
correct.
that gives you credibility, trust of your customer. So if you hear that data is lost by any NBFC or bank, then and there the entire framework shatters.
Correct, correct.
So we have to be very careful about where our data and how our data will reside. We need to make sure that the fintech partner or with whom we are going to agreement are data blind. They can't have access to our data. They can store their data on a cloud, but it has to be data blind. That particular dedicated cloud setup should be for us.
Okay.
So those are the major things. Also, liability clause. Then in case of any force majeure, what will happen? Then the agreement duration. What are the clauses of suspension? Who is going to take care when there is any leakage of data or any wrong decision taken due to wrong data? So those things are taken care of.
Okay. So basically, from your company side, you look into what are the things you need to keep in mind so that there is no leakage of data. So these are the
Correct.
grounds you look into when you are vetting this agreement, sir.
Correct. Data is one such thing. So we
Yes, sir.
need to protect ourselves from any untoward situations.
Correct. So, can you describe your process for conducting due diligence when vetting legal agreements, sir?
Okay. So how a general thing works would be we receive an agreement from a computation, sorry, I mean a vendor's legal team,
Mm-hmm.
then we vet it on our own, then we give it to our legal team.
Okay.
Now, if my legal team has any queries, I get on a call with them. Few things they make me understand few things about the project and how the things will work. I make them understand, and that's how we come to a point where we are okay. Now, things would be the data consent. How am I taking consent from the customer to take their data?
Yes.
Because the main thing will be consent over here. Without consent, I can't do anything. Now, once I am okay with my legal, I'll have to go to the fintech's legal or the vendor's legal, with whom again I have to negotiate. These are the few things which we won't be able to accept, and these are the few things which we are okay to accept. So these things to and fro it comes. So few things we take from our past experiences, few things we get to learn from our peers, few things we get to learn from the different teams we are working with. So that's how an entire legal, so you need to feel that the agreement is your own. What would you do if you are in company's place? You have to be in company's shoes before going through the agreement.
Correct. So, after doing the vetting work, after doing the due diligence of all the agreements, how do you ensure that the legal agreements you have entered into adequately protecting the interest of the NBFC while maintaining a balanced approach?
Yes. So this is the goal even before starting or reading the agreement. So like I mentioned, we just need not need to take care of our interest. So that is the major thing. We need to be in a place where we cannot be blamed or any data loss for the third party or the fintech sites. So we are safe. We are safe from any kind of litigations. So keeping that in mind, we go through all the clauses. We design the clauses or modify the clauses, keeping the essence the same so that it is on our side. But having said that, there are few things which I also mentioned earlier. We have to admit. So we have to be okay. And that's some things which business generally takes care of.
Correct. So one more thing. So while doing all this thing, I'm sure there's a lot of burden on you because if there is any wrong clause you put, there will be a lot of hurdles, right? Because it will change
Yeah,
the entire meaning of the legal agreement.
correct,
So
correct.
during all this due diligence, have you come across any regulatory challenging situation?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, Sudhi, we have our teams, we have our legal teams, we have our compliance team, and they are uh, intellectual people. They know how things work, they know what are the terms and conditions which are relevant in the market. So that's generally not a very big issue. But to come to other part of your question, we have to be in a place where, if even if there are any things which does not look okay to you, so you have to modify, so that you make sure that that's okay to your side as well and to the other party as well. You
Right,
need to compromise on 2 points, they need to compromise on 2 points. And that's how I think a legal agreement, it's a beauty, because both the parties have what they want, and again both the parties feel they don't have what they want. So
right, yeah.
that it would be.
Okay. So I'm sure it is basically a very difficult task to do a negotiations. So how do you handle the negotiations and the revisions of legal agreements with the in-house legal teams and the counterparties in this particular industry?
See, the in-house legal teams, they understand what the process is and what the project is going to bring to the table.
Okay.
So even if they are reluctant to change a particular clause, but for the goodwill of the company, they modify the clause in such a beautiful way that it keeps the interest of the company intact, and it also takes care of what the fintech wants. Because see, at the end of the day, our motive is to go live, but at a safe life.
Right.
A GTM or a go to market with any fintech should be in a safe and secure way. We need to protect our customers data, because that's the thing which we are known for. So we have to make the fintech understand that there are regulations which we are bound by, and out of which we cannot go. Hence, most of the times, I have never faced anyone who is too reluctant, like the vendors. They generally accept our terms and conditions, because see, at the end of the day, even they want to be associated with a NBFC or a bank, because that's how the entire business model works.
So is it a seamless process or you actually face any hurdles?
Sometimes I won't say it is very seamless, and hurdles and challenges are always there. So I think if those things are not there, you won't feel you have accomplished something. So it's a fair process.
Okay. So, you having for more than 5 to 6 years of experience, any final piece of advice for successful agreement closure?
Well, so like I mentioned, you need to keep yourself in the company's place. So treat it as your home agreement or any other agreement, and go through it very carefully. If you don't understand a particular thing, because legal language, it is very much drafted in such a
Technical.
beautiful
Yes.
way
Huh.
that not every layman can understand it.
Right.
So rather than understanding it in a wrong way, you should take it slowly. You should read between the lines. You should see what things can be accepted and what things cannot be accepted. Keep it simple. It's not a very complex thing. It's a simple English language only. So you just need to learn and go through the agreement. So the more and more agreements you'll be going through, the better or the fluent you will be in entire legal work.
Correct. Thank you so much, Sumit, for sharing this knowledge with us and making us understand what is the role of MBA candidate and how they can actually put insights into our legal world. So here we have come to our sessions. Thank you for sharing this wonderful knowledge and explaining us also the role and the work of NBFC. I hope these insights would be fruitful to everyone, and also for the other person who are into this digital or senior product manager. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It was wonderful having a beautiful discussion with you, Surbhi.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to much more discussions.
Sure.
And I wish you all the best for your channel.
Thank you so much.